So I'm going to be starting a new channel here, new series of videos focused on Dungeons and Dragons, possibly some other role-playing games, but I generally prefer the fantasy style, so I'm going to stick with Dungeons and Dragons at least at first. Now, me personally, I prefer 3rd edition, 3.5, best edition in my opinion, but it is a very complicated system, and it's really made for those hardcore players who've been playing for 20, 30 years. I started playing back in the 80s when I was about 6 years old. Played the classic sets, the red books, and then the red book, and the blue book, and the green books, you know, the classics. Started when I was 6 years old, my older brothers as the GMs. We had a lot of fun. I've always loved the game. I tried out 2nd edition. I never played 1st edition of Advanced D&D, but I did try 2nd edition, and it was okay. I enjoyed it. But at the time, I never could get a group together. I could never really get into a game. And I've always been one that I love a lot of house rules, and 2nd edition is not one that lends itself to house rules very well. So when 3rd edition came out, I was skeptical at first, but once I started playing it, I fell in love with it. And it lends itself beautifully to house rules. I actually rewrote the entire rulebook, Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide. I rewrote most of it to fit my own style. And when I say I rewrote it, I didn't change the main mechanics. I altered the feats a little bit, altered some spells around. I did rather than memorizing spells, which I've never liked, never made sense to me, I did a kind of spell point system. But now 5th edition has come out. Of course, 4th edition came out, and that was a flop. I tried reading the Player's Handbook once, and no. But 5th edition, I started getting into 5th edition about a year ago, and it's actually pretty fun. But it's an entirely different system. Some of the mechanics are still the same. You know, you've got the attack rolls, a d20, and you have the armor class. You got some things that are the same. But somebody who's familiar with 5th edition is going to have a very hard time stepping into 3rd edition and playing the game, because it is way different. There are so many things that are different. 3rd edition is just so complicated. And which is one thing I love. I love that they not literally, they have rules for almost everything. 5th edition doesn't. 5th edition is a very simple game designed for new players. So this is my new channel. I am doing this on YouTube. I'm also going to be doing it on Patreon right now. So if you enjoy these kind of things, feel free to check out the Patreon. I will be doing videos comparing 3rd and 5th edition. I've seen some videos that compare 3rd and 5th edition, but they do a very cursory comparison, more or less what I like about this and what I like about this. I want to do an in-depth kind of, what's the difference between a 20 armor class in 3rd edition compared to a 20 armor class in 5th edition? Is there a difference? What's the difference? What's the practical difference between these things? How, compare a rogue in 3rd edition to a rogue in 5th edition? How are they different? What things are different? Do they have different abilities? Things like that. I want to get into a kind of a deep dive of the differences. And a lot of people who play 5th edition, I think they could enjoy 3rd edition. But because it is so different, they jump into it and it gets so confusing. I want to get some videos that'll compare the two and make it easier for players to transition between one and the other. I will also be doing what I call one-off combats. This is not adventures, just a combat encounter. Now the encounter it won't be just straight combat. It won't be, line up the bad guys and line up the players, go at it. There will be nuances in it. There will be some differences, some things to do, some puzzles possibly to figure out, possibly even some negotiations to avoid combat if possible, or to at least reduce it. So it'll be an encounter. Each encounter will focus on a single monster or a type of monster possibly. And it will it is designed to showcase what is possible in D&D. How certain encounters can be done. I'll be doing this both in 5th edition, also in 3rd, but my 3rd edition ones will not be up for a little while. I'm not going to be able to get those started probably until November, so it'll be a little while before I get those up. It's also true that I am very limited in technology right now, and so I'm basically I'm using the Roll20 platform to play the games. We got players from all around the world, and I will be using Zoom to record them. So that's what I got right now. Maybe if there's enough interest and things pick up, I'll be able to get some better equipment going and make better videos. But that's going to be what it is for now. I also want to do, through Patreon, won't necessarily be on YouTube, might make videos of it, but I want to do kind of questions and answers, that people ask questions, get opinions, have open discussions, do kind of live chats, open discussions. But I also want to do test plays. So that on the Patreon, if you are a subscriber on Patreon, you'll be able to submit new monsters, spells, magic items, even whole adventures that you have designed yourself, and you can submit them to the Patreon, and I will put them into my games. We will test play them, and we will have the players that test play them kind of give their opinion of what they think of the concept, how they think it works, any improvements that you could possibly make to it. On the Patreon, you'll also be able to, the higher level subscriptions will be able to join the games. Not just submit stuff for test play, but will be able to actually join the games. Be able to join as players, possibly even as a guest GM, and run your own game on our platform. So that is what I'm planning on doing in this series, in this channel. If it is something that you feel you might be interested in, let me know in the comments on this video, and we will be launching Patreon by the end of October. Hopefully sooner. My goal is to have it up by the 12th. So, comment, let me know if this is something that you would be interested in. And wait for the next video. Thank you.